Since I've been married to a churchgoer for a long time, I know that criticizing the sermon is a group sport that can be carried out with no real malice toward the preacher, though this distinction is often lost on the preacher. Being a guest doesn't prevent it from happening. The difference is that both my listeners and I know it's a one-shot deal, freeing both of us to say and think things we might not otherwise have said or thought. Since someone responsible has invited me, I'm presumably safe, but still unpredictable, like the babysitter who shows up with steel darts and a dartboard instead of a Monopoly game. If all goes well, I might be invited back. If not, I won't. Either way, there's no lasting harm. The great thing about guests is that they go home. What I value most about speaking of faith far from home is that I have to travel light. I don't know my hosts well. There are so many ways of being Christian that I don't even know for sure how the worship service will go. I certainly don't know who the pillars of the church are, or the troublemakers, or what kind of a week they've all had. I don't know what turns a stranger's speech into a sermon for them. I don't know what they depend on it to do. All of these uncertainties unpack my bags until there are only a few things left. A sacred text, a trust in the Spirit, an experience of being human, and the desire to bear good news. When I worry that won't be enough, I remember there may be another guest in the congregation that day, someone who didn't mean to come to church, but turned in at the last minute, or came to placate a relative or please a friend. They don't know the same things I don't know. They too are traveling light. They're starting where I'm starting, with the desire for something to happen that morning that will make a difference. The only thing I know that the other guest may not know is that something does happen over and over again in the most surprising ways. Sometimes it's a praise dance, and sometimes it's a descant by the choir on the last verse of a hymn. Sometimes it's a spontaneous baptism, and sometimes it's an old couple holding each other up on their way to take communion. I hate to say it, but it's rarely the sermon, at least not all by itself. Whether there's a guest in the pulpit or a pastor who knows everyone by name, that person's job is to do what any person sitting in front of them could do: give voice to the faith that is in them, and trust God to do the rest. Chapter 1. How to Live with High Anxiety. Luke 21, verses 25 through 28. There will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, and on the earth distress among nations. Confused by the roaring of the sea and the waves, people will faint from fear and foreboding of what is coming upon the world, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Luke 21, verses 25 and 26. Good morning, church. If you're visiting today, as I am, there are a couple of things you need to know right here at the start, because I'm your flight attendant, and we're in for a bumpy ride. The turbulence is predictable, since there are two different weather patterns that always collide on the first Sunday of Advent. The first is a happy, high-pressure front. Today's New Year's Day for Christians, the first Sunday of the new church year, which sets our sights on the birth of the Messiah 4 weeks from now. Good news! The Christ is coming. It's time to get the nursery ready and reorder your priorities, because every urgent thing in your life is about to kneel before the one important thing that wants to be born anew in you, Emmanuel, which is to say, the God in you, the God in the person sitting next to you, the God with us, above us, below us, and among us, willing to be made known through us, and at the same time, willing to become small enough to hold in our arms. This baby's on the way. You'd expect champagne to be served on such a flight, but the